life lessons for a time such as now. I'm here with my host, Tracy, CC, Nay, and today we have two gentlemen on who's going to join us in this podcast tonight. We have Bruce and we have Pedro.
Hey.
Let's say hi,
Hey,
guys.
guys.
How's everyone today?
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Welcome back.
Good. How are you?
Thank you. Good,
Thank
good.
you.
Yes, we're glad to have you on again. Ladies, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you.
So our topic is tonight, ladies, why or men. So why do some men devalue Black women?
That's a good topic.
Why
You
do
guys in the hot
some
now. Y'all in the hot
men
seat.
devalue Black women? So I'm glad that you guys are on tonight. So you can help us with this question. We're not saying that it's all men,
No, never.
but there's a lot of men out there who does.
Oh, y'all
So
worded
can
it
y'all give
perfectly.
us?
You said some men. Y'all worded it perfectly. You said
Yes,
some
some,
men.
not
Yeah.
all. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because we understand it's not all men. So, and we know that you guys are not one of those men, but maybe you
Right.
can give us, enlighten us on why you think that some Black men devalue us.
So I think a lot of men that fall into that category or take on that change of heart, it may happen from hurt, from being hurt. And it could have probably hurt from a Black woman, and then they just want to lump all Black women into the same category and then devalue them and devalue you guys in a way that they're like, maybe I don't even want to date Black women anymore, or to the point where I'm just going to abuse them. And I don't mean physically, but just abuse them and not respect them and hurt people. And I think that's where that comes from. A lot of times, and that may not be all the time, but I think a lot of it comes from that. They may have started off as a wonderful man, a great man, ready to be the perfect spouse and the perfect mate, and got dogged, and once or twice or three times, and said, I'm not letting that happen anymore. I'm gonna start doing the dogging, and that could be what the route they go.
Interesting.
I've heard
Oh,
that
let me
before,
check now.
actually. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, like
I think
that's good, but it's
women
like,
have the same sentiments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we come out, looking for love and think this is our happily ever after. And after getting dogged so many times, we're saying we're going to play their game too. But for the
Exactly.
most part, it doesn't work in our favor in the end.
It almost never works out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the funny thing is when you said that as you were speaking, I was thinking like sometimes, especially the as sons living with their mom, some of them, yeah, they respect their mom, blah blah blah. But what happens is sometimes when you're not with the father, he's so disrespectful to the mother that the son starts to pick it up, and then he also gets a little angry at mom because you're not with dad. And I don't know how it really works, and I guess that's why we're asking you guys, is because I'm wondering, is he mad at me, right? Because I'm trying to raise him and do the best I can do and keep his butt off the street, or keep him tame. But then dad is doing something different, and then he's talking shit about me, and so now my son is not respecting me. So I think sometimes it comes in. It's a hard, but it's something that they see. Definitely what they see.
For sure. They learn
Definitely
that.
what they learn. But then even though a lot of us moms are trying to teach them better, but they want that daddy love. So the women, they want that daddy love that they just start to follow what he do. And you wonder, when does that come? When do they come out of that? Right.
Well, they'll hurt the person that's close to them, person they see every day.
Yeah.
They want to hurt you. They're mad at mom.
Yeah.
And also the grass looks greener. I'm not there, so it's probably amazing over there with dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to go deeper than that.
Go ahead.
I believe also that some men, or when they were boys, were hurt by their mother.
Mothers.
Whether she abandoned them, whether she was on drugs or something like that. Sometimes they lose respect for their mother. Therefore, it reflects on other women, right? Because they are angry with her or bitter or have some resentment because their mother, next thing you know, they are disrespecting Black women in a whole. I also agree with Bruce how hurt people. And I've heard that from guys before,
Yeah.
saying, oh, when I was younger and I didn't have anything, black girls or black women used to treat me this way or that way. So now I don't really date them, but it hurts as a black woman when you know that we are the mother of all, right? So that means we carry the whole world on our shoulders. And because black men don't see us that way today, it's a hurting feeling.
Yeah, for me, when I was growing up, there was a tremendous amount of, and I'm sure Bruce probably relate to this, there was a tremendous amount of peer pressure around your friends about like how many women you can smash, and so women were already like sort of neat. I could separate my mom, my grandmother, even my sisters,
right,
from females that we just you pursued. You wasn't taught to like love them or care about them like you can. And I think that's something that happens later, like with men, where like I remember one time I was in the back of my building, and my neighbor, he had a son like my son's age, and he was on the phone arguing. When he got off the phone, he said to me, he was like, "Yo, man, how do you handle your side piece?" And I was like, I don't have a side piece. And, but it's so common. Like, even like my father, fathered the child, and a lot of men in my growing up, my neighborhood, man. So we weren't taught to, at least in my environment, there was no respect for women. Women would do that. They were just a piece of, I think maybe, we can go to the plantation and talk about it, especially with black women. But even, and, where white women, are looked at like snow bunnies, so yeah, I think that it was more of that. Like, I know sometimes women, like I look at a woman and I'm like, well, they don't understand, like a man, like it's almost in us, like we're taught, like we can separate, like we can sleep with a woman in a car, we don't even know, and still go back to you and love you, and it's like,
but can you? But really, I mean, because I feel like you guys, I feel like some of the guys really can do that. Like it doesn't bother them.
We're built to do it. We're built. I think, I don't know. Maybe Bruce will agree with me. I think.
No, I agree with you in the same way you said. There's some separation. You could, you put the women that you love in a whole different category. It's like, no, that's not separated. Yeah.
This woman is not. I don't even know. I don't even remember her now. But your lady, she, and then your mom and your sisters, and then. But what happens though? What happens when you have a daughter? And see, even for my father, I think, because my father, I think he didn't want my sisters around a man like him, so he pressured them. And you know what happened? They both got married when they were 18. Because he was.
And then they married somebody who wasn't. I mean, I don't know.
Well, no, they didn't marry good guys. But
they did good guys. Oh, thank God.
He was so heavy-handed because he was such a womanizer, and so he didn't want them to meet a man like him, and it backfired. And I just think that, so yeah, men can separate that stuff, man, and it's pretty terrible when you think about it, because like I know, I mean, and CC, you know me. We know each other for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
And I met my wife with you. And
yeah.
I mean, my goodness, man. I mean, when you're with this woman and she's giving birth, I mean, my wife had a C-section. How can you cheat on that? How can you cheat on that? And your daughter, I had daughters. How can I be honest? And that's what I don't understand. As a man, I never got that from men. Like, how do you have a daughter and because even growing up, like, you couldn't, there was rules. You can't mess with your boy's sister. Like, because she, you got to be honorable with her. But everyone else.
But then how do you treat with the peer pressure that you spoke of, how do you get your son to think the way that you think as far as respecting a woman and valuing her? How do you try to incorporate it? Because they do what they want to do no matter what.
Well, how I treat his mother, how I treat my mother. You lead by example, man. Mm-hmm. That's the only way to do it. And then of course, here.
You can say all you want all day, but if you're not living that way, that they're gonna see that. They're gonna ignore everything you say, and they're gonna see what you're doing.
Right.
Because he's gonna hate if you're beating on his mom. He's gonna beat you, and then he's gonna grow up and he's gonna beat on his girl. So and it's just a weird thing. But yeah, it's about what you show them. Yeah. Man. And I know that's what I'm very frustrated with my brothers about. Like, I remember one time in the cafeteria, and we were arguing because guys were complaining about paying child support, and I'm like, I'm the only one. I'm like, yeah. So you think about that when you was doing what you were doing,
right?
Talk about it. And then you're talking about money, because there's so much more about raising a child. So women, you guys are the queen, like you said, they're earth. Remember with God, a woman's earth. A woman's everything to me. I have 2 daughters. I just don't understand that. So maybe I'm not you to explain it. I don't get it.
I agree
okay, I
with you.
want to play devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, girl.
Okay.
Because the question is, why do Black men devalue Black women? So you guys might not be that group of men that devalue them. However, if you
friends.
can,
I said they got friends.
You got friends,
yes,
right? You got family
or with
members,
changed men,
right? And most of the time, when men, choose other races, is because of what Black women lack. So, what do you think, or what have you experienced? And this isn't for all Black women, of course, right? Where you could say, you know what? I maybe can see where they're coming from, or this is probably why some men do think this way. We gotta get a little to the nitty gritty. Let's jump into it, right?
But now let me
Because
just
this is coming
also
from
jump in
somewhere.
just to be clear, right? Because it's about devaluing women, Black women, in every area. It's not just in a relationship or dating outside of the race. Is minimizing us, right? Minimizing us as if we're the least important. So that's where it really is. Now, you can definitely talk about dating outside of your race, but that's not really what the topic is. The topic is just devaluing us in a whole.
And I think media, and if we going back to the last show that we did a couple of days ago, it's propaganda. It's the media putting Black women at a low level, and even from the way you guys are paid, and women in general are paid. It's a hierarchy, and if we believe that hierarchy that's put in our face every day, then we just live up to it, and we honor it, and I think that's the why, right? How do you get away from the why? It's like fathers like me and Pedro, telling our kids, like, listen, your mom is holding down everything. You got to respect that. So that I'm fast forwarding to solution, but I think the why, a lot of it comes from media and like what Pedro said, what we learned growing up. And it's up to us to change later as we become adults. Like, what were these guys in the street teaching me? Like, this ain't right. We got to check ourselves at some point in our lives.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you learned growing up about Black women, or some of your peers learned about Black women?
Go ahead, Pedro.
Well, we learned like Black women were loud. They'll embarrass you, very strong, almost in a kind of way. That's how, and I think like what Tracy said in the other show we had did was propaganda. I mean, when you keep pounding it in people's heads, man, and I mean, think about this. And now I'm going to get off topic a little bit, but I won't go too far. But think about it. The people that built this nation, the day after we were emancipated, we were the laziest people on earth. We were sexual predators when all of us are lighter.
You better say it. That's the truth.
So who would have? So it was like, it's kind of like this president we have. He projects, right? What does that mean? Everything he does, he blames everyone else for. So that's what happened. I think we got caught up in that. So and a lot of, like I said, unlearning. We got to unlearn, man, and that's it's like we believe everything. So even like if I wasn't Black, I probably would hate Black people. Probably because you just taught that. We're just terrible. We're the worst, man. We just all the crimes, all of this, all of that. When we know that's not even true. So yeah, man, America, racism is undefeated. White supremacy is brilliant. I mean, it makes us hate ourselves. It makes so when you go to the Black woman, I mean, who raised the mother of everything, man. I mean,
And if we're so bad, why do you want us to raise your kids?
That's what
why do you keep taking us? We're a good babysitter, a good nanny, but we're not good. It's crazy.
Right. But you can suck my breast and take my milk
that part.
for your baby. Yeah.
Right.
You know
that
what I mean?
Part.
All that. But then you can't stand the color of my skin. But your baby is sucking, my hormones.
Right. That part.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's also because I know that Pedro was saying there's America, but it's even deeper than that. It's really throughout the world, right?
Yes.
Because it is taught. It's taught that Black women are minimized, right? And that's why it was so easy to rape a Black woman. No one really cares. To beat a Black woman, you probably get a smack on the hand today. Back in the day, you really didn't even, when they would beat their women, it was just, okay, well, don't do it again. And that's it. But if you do that to a white woman or someone else, you may get a bigger, consequence. So it comes from, and I want to just say slavery, but possibly, before that, because even in Africa, you can go deeper than that, right? And we were mistreated there as well. So what makes, a man don't see us as valuable as even some others? Because if you think about it, a lot of Black women here in America, I can only speak about America, but we have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, some even have doctorates, right?
Most educated people in America are Black women.
Some doctor's degree, right? Right, and this is my point. We are CEOs. We have our own businesses. We hold it down. How can you see us
worthless?
Look at Kamala
Harris. Right. Thank you, Cece. How can you see us that way?
Because we're women.
That person to run for president. And when you flip to Fox News or YouTube, you'll see the trailer park white woman saying how dumb she is. All these white folks, look how dumb. And that used to blow my mind. Because this woman was a senator, the vice president, a prosecutor, all the things she's the most dumbest idiot called her a stupid. But you know what else too? And I know Bruce probably feels me on this, like what we were told about white women. The flip side, how they'll do anything. How they'll and they'll take.
But these are stereotypes.
Yeah, stereotypes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of brothers.
But then in the same token, you say that, and I think we hear you, but we still go back to why y'all treat us the way y'all treat us. Meaning, why are we getting treated like that? Knowing everything that you know, that we put out forth, we take care of our kids, we got master's degrees, we got this, and then still, even with all those things that we have, you either choose the other way or you treat us like shit. Why? That's the question. Why?
Why? It's the why.
It's the why for me.
It's the why for me.
Yeah,
I know that's right, Cece. You better say it, girl. Why?
Why?
Yeah, man, it really makes no sense because I wish I had the answer.
I
really
that's
don't.
fair. You don't have the answer.
No,
the answers we gave were the best ones we could give, and those were the majority of those that do that. But being on the outside, I've never mistreated or devalued a Black woman. So I'm guessing as to what this happens, and I like to think that it's not as widespread as it feels like it is right now.
Oh, it is.
It is.
I believe it is. I also believe it is. But I'm sure that you guys have friends that you may hear talk down about Black women.
Yeah.
So you can almost.
And what do you say to them?
I try and teach. I try and teach, but they are stubborn and they are in their ways. But I don't ever let them think that I agree with what they're doing. Right. I tell them how I feel, and I give them suggestions.
Yes.
And trying to get them to look at it a different way and everything. And for the most part, it's a fail. Yeah. For me, they're not listening to me.
But to what we were talking about earlier, I think that's because we go back to whether they angry with their mother or they're angry with their dad or the way they grew up, and it's just stuck. Or the other thing is maybe they were hurt. They were hurt. Hurt people. And so, but my thing is, I understand hurt people. But when do you stop hurting? Like if you meet someone that's giving you everything in a sense, not the hurtness, they're giving you all the good stuff. Why are you still stuck?
Maybe we shouldn't focus on them bum ass niggas. Maybe we should focus on the women.
Maybe we should.
Because I have 2 daughters. And I swear, man, you know what I love? I love to see a big Black woman have dress. Not because I'm, even though I'm attracted to thick women, but it's not that. It's because I'm like, look at her confidence. And that's what I try to teach my daughters, man, self-esteem. Because these niggas out here, they're waiting for those that don't love themselves.
Yeah.
And then now you're going to have some dude and he love you and make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You. I think that's the flip side.
Okay.
Because dudes is dudes, man. We're not the smartest. We're not. We're kind of, and we fall for it. You know, that's why like the whole white girl thing. It's absurd when you think about it. And there's a brother named Umar Johnson, and I know you guys heard of him, and he was talking about that. And I didn't necessarily agree with him, but he was saying, oh, white girls, they'll take guys when they're projects, whereas a black woman, she got to have the finished product. You know, so what? She deserves the finished product. So I want to hear that. But I think we got to.
That's not true either, though.
Yeah, I was going to say
I want to be
that's
clear.
definitely
That's not true either.
No, it's
Because
not.
most of them are dating us when they are broke.
Right.
Okay.
And then leave.
And then society
part.
teaches them, now that you made it,
Leave.
dump her because she
Right.
is,
Exactly.
you know, she's not
'Cause now you
valuable.
hierarchy.
And you go up. The hierarchy is now you get a white woman because now you're a millionaire or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of NBA players, football players, they do it. Why? Because that's what it's taught that way. Okay, so now you made it. And since you made it, dump that one. And now you get the real thing. The real
It's all about status.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like I want to also
we loved you before anybody loved you. Before those white people loved you, we loved you.
correct.
We was down for you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
I also wanted to add to how I believe that men may devalue some black women or black women because we kind of devalue ourselves, some of us.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we think it's okay to, you know, be, you know, naked in the camera, doing some things that we just want to get attention from. I saw something on social media some time ago. I can't even remember. And I believe it was in Brooklyn. And this guy had this girl on a gate. And he was having sex with her on a gate outside, and people, I mean, it was like on the top of the gate, and people were filming it, laughing, and oh my goodness, oh look at him go, whatever. And she's sitting there smiling. I don't know if she was drunk, I don't know what it was, but it's
She was okay with it. Yeah.
It's okay. And then you see us, we'll do certain things, or we'll just try to, dress all kind of, very seductive so that we can get the attention, but the attention that we're getting is only sexual. However, you go to those other races and they can be a hostess and they're going to grab them up. They're not going to treat them that way. They're not going to say, hey, come here and give me a blowjob. They're not going to do that to them at first. I'm just saying, they're going to marry them.
No, you know it's interesting too, because you're right. Like Michael Jackson, the most famous person in the world, he married a nurse. Like, no disrespect, but she was her, bottom of the barrel. If you look at some of these brothers and who they married, and you're like her, and they're bottom of the barrel. So yeah, I agree with you, man. I think that it really comes. We have to flip it around. It's about the women. It's about the women now. Just their self-esteem.
Well, Pedro just said he likes to see a big black half-dressed woman.
He was basing that on confidence because it's a sign of her being confident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like she's not. She don't care, and maybe it don't even look good. It might not look good, but she's so confident because that's the thing. I know. Like I feel like in my family, some of the women, because their self-esteem was so low, these bum ass niggas who had nothing, and they had so much more to offer, but they're settling for this because
there's responsibility on both sides.
Absolutely,
this is what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, right?
Can I say something real quick? There was and speaking on what Tracy was talking about, there was a rapper and his daughter. They recently got murdered, shot up, and the mom, she was on social media talking about, her baby gonna rock Gucci. I don't know the names.
Oh no, I seen that. That was horrible.
And that was the mom. It was crazy.
Well, she's different. That's mental illness there. We can't even use her as an example. We're not going to use her as an example.
Million views, and but you're right.
That was mental illness, because I don't think any mother would know that her baby, her 5-year-old actually got shot in the face 5 times.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a mother alive that wouldn't be sliding down the wall somewhere. And she was on live talking about, y'all think y'all got me messed up, but I ain't messed up over that. I ain't tripping. Yeah, she's different.
Yeah, that's the same.
That's mental illness there. I don't know.
Yeah, we see it, and it's kind of like there was a skit on Saturday Night Live.
But we definitely don't want to. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. Like, we don't want to even talk about that. That's just sad. That's sad.
Yeah. But what I wanted to say was,
they saw this black woman project that thing, and and it was sad, and it was mental, but still the world's putting that out.
Yeah, they put it
That's the
on.
propaganda
That's
and
the
the media
problem.
that they put in front of us. That's
Yeah.
the media that they put in front of us, wanting us to view our Black women in that way.
But hold on, let me speak on this real quick. As a Black woman with a lot of assets, right? Um, I do. So, I have a lot going on for myself as far as like my own everything, right? I'm financially secured. I'm not out here looking for any handouts. I've been my own business owner for a long time. I have a genuine heart. I have a lot of great qualities to myself, and my friends and family and people close to me, even some exes, will vouch for that, right? However, when I am dating, Black men are more focused on my assets, okay? The way I dress, and they over sexualize me. And that seems to supersede all the other things that I have going on, you know. And that could be the why too. And it can be a bit devaluing too, because you guys are not you guys. Some
Right,
Black men, we gotta say some,
right,
are
right.
not seeing the other qualities or not taking those into consideration, all the other assets that I have to bring to the table. Their main focus on is, how big my butt is or how big my breast is, and that seems to be it. So if that, that can be all right. So we can get confused as women, right, on how to get the male attention when it seems like that could be the only thing they focus on. And even when, I have conversations with men and they get to know, like, oh, wow, you're dope. You got this going on for yourself. It still leads back to that.
Right.
It still leads back to that. Like, you can just know what his intentions is. And it's frustrating because I'm 38. So at this point, it's like, all right,
You ain't got
I
time
can
for
understand
games.
if I was in my 20s and, that's all that men was focused on. But, you know, um, and I don't date outside my race, so I don't know if other men would do that too. But I do have clients that are a little younger than me, early 30s, and they're just like, I am tired of dating. And these are business professional women. They are tired of dating Black men. They are sick of it because they feel like they're not being treated well. And I try to give them the hope stories, because my best friend, Bruce, she found a great man and she has a great love or whatever, and he's very respectful. So I do try to tell them that there are still great men out there, but it's a struggle. It is a struggle with men, they basically hypersexualize us. And so, therefore, it's like, okay, well, if this is what we got to do to get y'all attention, to get us in the door, to get y'all in the door, it is what it is. We will dress a certain type of way and we will put that out there. So back to the question is why? Why can't they see past that? When you do have a woman in front of you that have a lot more to offer, it always comes back to that the devaluing of us, and the over sexualizing us.
I think
I,
maybe women maybe they're guilty sometimes too because, like for example, I love hip hop and I want to see a good MC and these female MCs, you know what they do. I mean, even this new one, Doechii, like she when she first came out, she was a little baggy. Now all I see is her ass.
Mm.
I don't want to see it no more. I want to hear if she can spit.
Well, I can understand why she's putting it out there.
No,
Like I said,
That's
from
where the
my
money comes
experiences
from.
as well. It's like, okay, you guys are probably not listening to her lyrics or paying attention to her. So she's like, okay, well, let me try this. I can't get your attention with my lyrics, so let me put my ass out there.
See, but she got my
You see me now?
lyrics, but I guess I'm the minority, right? Because yeah, you're right. I mean, it's I don't know. I think maybe it's all the above, right? It could be all the above.
I believe that we were always overly sexualized, right? I'm gonna go again deep with it.
Station.
We've always been overly sexualized, especially when we came to this country, when we was forced into this country. They looked at us, as a mattress and they treated us as such.
Yeah.
And so they had the bucks, if you will, to come and make babies with us so that they can create, other slaves, right?
Yeah.
And so they just had us, and even the masters was just coming in and just getting it, getting a little piece when they wanted some, right?
Yeah.
It's always
Right.
been that way. Always been that way. It's just now, socially, that's where the money is. And so because that's where the money is, women are competing against one another. So now to me, it just seems like it's just the Black women who are competing against one another on who's going to get the most attention. I don't really see white women or other races having to do the things that we have to do to
Yeah,
get that attention from our men.
Right.
Right, from our men. Yeah, because they do it too, right? But not when it comes
Yeah,
to
they don't
our
have
men,
to. They don't have to
they're
do all that.
minimal. Right.
I don't really see even anyone who are like artists, musical artists, actors. I don't know. I don't see them half naked, shaking and twerking. I mean, now they do a little something, but they don't have to go all out the way we do, right?
Not like the
Right.
Yeah.
We are naked.
Yeah.
Okay. Everywhere we walk, we're naked.
Yeah.
We're shaking. We're overly sexualizing ourselves. That's what I think as well. So I think the first thing is we need to just continue on knowing who we are. And this is going to be my last life lessons for tonight. So I believe if we just continue to love ourselves, and as parents, we continue to teach our children and educate our children to love ourselves. Because if we don't love ourselves, and I said it in the last episode, if we don't love ourselves, then there's no way that you can love me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that scares me the most with my daughters was that they need to love themselves by the love of some guy, and I tell my daughter that when she ain't like, love yourself, and one of my daughters will be like, how do I love myself? And you just gotta love yourself, love who you are. And that way, whoever loves you, you can't love someone if you don't love yourself first. So
you can't expect them to love you. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a good question as to how. I had that question a couple of weeks ago.
You sure did.
When people say, love yourself. Okay, how?
Right.
What used to say how?
How? It's easy
Well,
to tell you
guys,
that. Nobody has the answer, though.
well, guys, for the men, for your girls, you have to teach them because you are their first example.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that they're queens and they're princesses, and that's how they're supposed to be treated. And if you treat them like that and instill that in them, that's what they're going to look for in a man.
Right.
And for the women, you do have to love yourself. How do you love yourself? Just like you loving somebody else. That's the answer. But you have to love yourself just like you would love your children, just like you would love your man. You love on yourself that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm first. I'm special. I'm a queen. I'm this. I'm that. You tell yourself that until you believe it if you don't believe it. That's the answer to your question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that's all I
That
have
was
to
a
say
good
on that.
Crystal. That was really good. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
That was real good.
Preach,
sister, preach.
You said until you believe it. You ain't got to believe
for
it
a
at
time
first.
such as now.
There you go. For a time such as now. Yeah, we definitely. I'm just gonna piggyback. I agree with all of you guys, but definitely what Crystal just said. Yes, we have to. You have to start putting in your head, I'm beautiful. I love myself. Because we do everything for everybody else, but for some reason we find a way to lack on ourselves, and so we have to. You got to push through the storm to get to where you want to go.
That's good. See, that's good.
All right, guys. Last note.
Well,
I'll just have the last word, bro.
I'll just say that I enjoyed this topic. It was enlightening. I will do what I can on my end as far as my daughter goes and make sure I'm her role model so that she doesn't have any question or any doubt on her value as she gets older.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to end this with I'm going to piggyback what Crystal said, love yourself until you believe it. Tell yourself that until you believe it. And I guess it starts with us. Once we start valuing ourselves and loving ourselves more, the black men will follow.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the black men, not all of them, because some of them love us already unconditionally. And with that being said, this is going to conclude our episode with life lessons such a time such as now. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And that will be it. Thanks, you guys, for coming on. Oh,
Thanks, guys.
and she couldn't be with us today.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Pedro, for coming over.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We miss you, J. Wills. Love you. See you next time. Bye, guys.
All right, bye.